Hi everyone, I'm Christine Ballard and I'm here having a little chat with Desiree Martin, who is one of my fabulous students who has been doing the ARTPRAC mentoring. And we're going to have a little bit of a chat about that to see or give you an insight into what it's about and what she got out of it. Everyone will get something different, but it'll give you a little bit of an insight. So we've got a few questions and we're just going to have a little chat. You can see one of her beautiful works here that she's been working through. Isn't it beautiful? Okay, so the first thing I usually ask is what made you want to do the program? So what motivated you from wanting to be just painter that wants to copy other people or do things like that? What was it that made Desiree want to do the program?
That's easy. I have always loved painting, and I was doing some illustration work and I wanted to push myself. I like expressive art, so when I'm doing drawing and things of the as well, actually Christine, you helped me to identify who I am, and I think doing the mentor program, it gave me permission to do art. It allowed me to find time to do it. It legitimized it. That was the best part. That's just because I'm a mum and you're trying to squeeze everything in and being creative. Like I can't help it. I'm just creative.
Yeah. Okay.
So
it gave you scheduling.
Gave you it all and
commitment deadlines.
Yes.
You had to kind of answer to me.
Yes.
Really, to a little bit.
Yeah. But she's very nice.
Having a structure.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the next thing is was it easy to fit into your life? Because one of the things that has to happen is that we talk about, I never have enough time, and like being an artist, we all only get 24 hours a day. So how are we going to make that time more about art and try and move all the other things that we have to do? And with that art mentoring, we have deadlines, we catch up every once or twice a month. And it only needs to be an hour. Desiree's prolific painter and she knows how to put paint on a canvas. Yeah. So I don't need to teach her to load that up, but it's really about getting more of the artist into their work and giving them structured deadlines about how to improve that and how you can feel more engaged with your work and work out a program. So how did you fit it in?
Okay, so my life is busy. I'm on committees. I've got 4 sons. I do weekend work, face painting. What I actually did was it gave me the skills and the tools and the motivation to tidy up my art room. So I took over the back room and I was able to sort of, instead of carrying everything from every type of art, I decided what's important for me, what sort of style that I wanted to do, and then everything that was kept for that style was put away neatly and so forth. So I became more organised.
Okay.
More organised in my thought process as well as physically, like the room itself.
Okay, so it sounds like you're prepared a little bit. It wasn't just about painting, it was about how you manage your art life that helped you okay, let's get organised. And that's one of the things. It's 50% of the time is painting and 50% of the time is not. It's managing your art life and also letting yourself have your art life and not have to be producing paintings all the time. I talk a lot about that in go and read an art book or do something. But also the thing is to tap in, I think, with time, is to tap into the personal plan that everyone has. You know, Desiree has a lot of family and she has to do the groceries and how do you do that and how do you get your art life without feeling guilty? And we managed to fit that in. It's only an hour that we have a chat and talk about things, and also giving Desiree things to go and follow up and look, maybe go and see a gallery show or look at a piece of fabric or go and get grandma's box or something like that. But it has to be relative to that artist, and that's something we find out between. It's very different. We're all very different, and isn't that excellent? And that's what the program's about.
Yep.
So what did you discover about your process and your approach to your work that has changed during the program from the beginning to now? And it's a work in progress, it's life in progress. So what were the things that you were doing in the beginning that are very different to what you do now?
I can tell you so much has changed. That's why I was giggling a bit, because if I didn't like something, I just put another layer on. But I didn't I was covering up a mistake. So going about your artwork like it's a mistake is wrong. Well, not wrong. It's a learning curve. So it's a work in progress.
Exhausting, because what you do is you go, that's terrible, I'll fix it, or I'll cover it up and start again, rather than working with the first lines might be okay and how to manage that process.
It was managing the process, managing the colours. Actually, something very different for me is, as Christine said, I am prolific. I paint very fast. I do everything fast, and then I give myself time to just do nothing. And in the process of going through the art mentoring, I found a style. I've always had a style, don't get me wrong, I do have a style, but I found a way of producing an artwork and then taking that artwork and moving it on to the next artwork. So one work leads to the next one, leads to the next one. They keep inspiring each other.
So more like an evolution of work, rather than this is my style, I've got to stick to this thing, so that it can be exciting along the way.
That's right. Or my other challenge was that I would do a watercolour, then I would do acrylic, then I would do oil, then I'd be doing illustration, and it was all mixed up.
Mm-hmm. So, and one of the things that I find in the art mentoring programs, everyone thinks that everything has to be in a little tiny box. So like, I'm good at this in my job, and then I want to be creative. And one of the most exciting things is that I just have to review and go like, you know, you're doing this and this thing, and it's actually like you've been practicing, where you feel like it's a lot of the new things to do. It's like, I've got to learn this new thing and that will make me really great. But actually the exciting thing that I find is discovering about each artist.
That's it.
And how we can encompass their history and move that into that. So all that stuff is your particular style or personality, and how can we get the best out of that, whether it's paint or sculpture or one of those things, and that. So what do you do different now? Like, what's changed the process that you go about things now? Remember that everything changes, it's work in progress.
Yeah, it is.
What's different? You seem more relaxed with the process.
Much
too.
more
It's less of a hurry.
Yeah. And I'm more confident about where I'm going and what the artwork looks like. The thing that I had not done before was that I wasn't inspiring myself. Inspiration came randomly, and I didn't know where that inspiration was. So if I was driving, I mean, you think about it, you're driving a car, you can't touch anything, there's no pen to write anything down, although I did try that, on the docket, and using a pen, holding onto the steering wheel, writing it, scribbling it down. This was a way of, as you said, tapping into my history, my childhood, and that's obviously a magic place where everybody will go, quite naturally. You'll always flip back, even
it doesn't have to be childhood. It could be a magic place or something where you had joy. And I think a lot of the things that we talk about when we do painting, we think like, or drawing or whatever it is, capturing that joy. And we all did it when we were a kid, and we watch kids and they're all joyful, and we seem to have had that ripped away from us. So how can we recapture that? And that's going back to history. It doesn't all have to be joyful, but
it was all there. It was all in my boxes. It was in my bookshelf. It was in the photos. I have been, as Christine said to me, I have been collecting all of this stuff for years.
But not knowing what it was for.
No. And I'd say about 30 years of stuff there that was things that had inspired me, and I just kept it. I didn't know why I kept it. But obviously you keep some things that are special to you. And now they're on my artworks. And the best thing is that being an emotional or a person that sort of pays attention to how I'm feeling all the time, I'm able to put that onto my canvas.
Okay, so that brings me to the next point. One of the things is, do you feel like you have more connection and direction from doing those programs, like those exercises that we did and things like that? From the beginning, Desiree was always in a hurry and being productive driven, because when we only have a small amount of time, it's like, okay, we've got 2 hours to do, let's make a painting, and now it's not very good, and it's because I haven't been practicing, I haven't been thinking about it more. And one of the things I think is that thinking more like an artist is that you're thinking about how the paint went down. I have lots of students where they're like, I couldn't sleep last night because I was working out how to fix that flower. It's like, yay, that's really exciting. Because if it's filling your headspace with that, then all the other rubbishy stuff doesn't get a chance in. But it's giving you a way to process that, capture those ideas and not be in such a rush. Yeah. And to sit back and look at your work and go, oh, isn't that interesting? Be more reflective of the process that you're in.
That's right.
And having structures and tools to do that with. And that's one of the things that I try and do, but it will be different for everyone else. Each individual person will have a structure that works for them. Some people like to be spontaneous and intuitive and stick stuff down and then make it into something, but some other people have to have a real meaning behind the work that they do when they start. The exciting thing that happens when you progress as a painter is that you get less panicked about the start and you get more excited about getting into it. And instead of it being a problem or a mistake or a bad spot or it just doesn't work, it's more like a work in progress, and it's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I might just let it sit there. From the outside looking in, you come off more of a confident person. And I think you own the word artist a little bit more too.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yes, very definitely. I found that those tiny little snippets of time that you have to paint are now more productive simply because I'm taking the artwork that I had begun and I'm working with it instead of against it. I'm working
That's
with...
interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I'm loving the actual process.
It's not
of
a
painting.
fight, it's more like a collaboration.
Yeah, exactly. And it's ongoing. So if I can only work for an hour on something or 2 hours on something, that's okay. It's all right working in snippets. That's not the issue. The issue is making it coherent and making it work with your life, and then produce something that you really love.
I think the difference too that happens is instead of being in a hurry to finish your work to show everyone that you're really great and that you're got a body of work or you got something like that, it's more about, it's really important to me that work's finished, and you become more connected, engaged with the work, and then if someone else doesn't like it, it doesn't matter.
It really doesn't
too
matter.
Precious to that. And so the shift is that you hear other artists, when you look at the master artists, that's what they were on about. You kind of get in trouble for being in your own world.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty good world to be in.
I like that.
So the next thing is, well, what would be one thing from ARTPRAC that gave you that you found was missing in your art that it gave you? You explained that there's a lot of things in that, but this is more about some of the things that I might have given you throughout the program that helped you organise things, or specific things that you felt, oh yeah, I've never sort of thought that.
Keeping a visual diary. I was taught that a long time ago in fashion school, but the process of keeping something that you find and gluing it in, and it doesn't necessarily need words. Sometimes it can be described pictorially. I like that because you're visual, visual.
And that's it, finding languages.
Yeah.
Art is a really weird thing, and I've heard it said before that it's the only language that we have to explain in another language. So if you get an artist statement or something like that, and what is this piece about, and I have to be an amazing writer, and that's when you sit into the untitled thing. But often it's a speed hump and it's a block, and it won't let you get through there. So it doesn't matter, just make some stuff and then move on. But then also being sensitive to the particular artist on how they work. If words are no good for them, for me saying to you, you need to write an artist statement and that's the thing, that's not going to be it. And I know for Desiree, I was to send her heaps and heaps of forms to fill out, which most of us don't like. No. But if I was to send her that, she'd this is a little bit horrible and feels like school. So one of the things, because you are, and you come from the fashion world, putting pictures together and helping them organise your brain and your visual thoughts is a fantastic way to do it. Yeah. And no one has to see that. It just can be in pictures, or it could be something you remember from a book, or it doesn't matter. But when you put all those different little bits together, you start to see a picture and a character, and that's the exciting bit.
I just love the fact that when I am putting it in the diary, that it starts. The process has begun, the artwork has begun.
And that was the next thing. So how does it make a difference? So instead of, what would your normal practice would be, let's get some paint, let's put some stuff down.
Yeah, just begin.
And just see what happens.
Chuck it. I remember being told once that if you don't know what to do, just throw some paint at the canvas. And I ran with that. And I think I have enough skills and techniques. Like, that was never an issue. The ability to paint is easy. It comes to me. I can, do any kind of medium that you ask me to do. I've experimented with everything.
And that comes from a history and experience of being an illustrator, professional illustrator, and also following brief, doing what you're told. And this is in the creative field. Anyone who's often done professional design or creative work, you get really good, and I speak from graphic design experience in this, you get really good at letting other people give you the brief and the idea, and then you see if you can pull it off. But what happens when you get to make the brief? And it's really hard. And so one of the things is about making the brief. Like, that doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're going to do, but right now this is what we're going to work on. I think that sort of sense of difference, like, this is a body of work, this is what we're going to work on, but it will be really exciting in a year, because you'll be so much better and so much practiced and much calmer about your process. And also being able to articulate that to other people and own it, I think, is probably a big step for everyone.
Confidence in your own work, confidence that you're certain that, no, that's the way I wanted it. Those are the colours I wanted. That's the pattern that I wanted. I'm liking that. I walk down the street and I will see pattern everywhere, and I like pattern, obviously, and movement and colour. So I see it, and I can store that, and I can maybe put something into...
So would you say that that's giving you like focus points?
Yes.
Like you love everything. Clearly, she likes colour and things like that. But the driver for Desiree is pattern and colour and overlapping and movement. Yeah, that's a whole lot of stuff, right? But when you go looking, you're not trying to grab everything and make everything perfect and right. It's like, this is the priority for what I'm going to do. It's a little bit like making dinner, like if everything tastes equally the same, nothing's exciting. You get no flavour, no essence, and that personality and character is what comes out in that. So what could you tell others about the program that might help their process? Because everybody works differently. But what would be one of the things you would say that has really helped you, no matter what medium that you might work in? And I specialise in more drawing and painting and sculpture. Well, I can do sculpture and things like that. But what would you say to someone else who might be in the same spot as you? And let's do a profile of that person. They're like, they've come and they've done some workshops and they paint and they do what they're told and they can pull it off really well. But they feel less connected or engaged with their work. And so they can paint. They love painting. They'd like to be better, like so would we all. But that's where our sort of a starting point would be, would you say?
It is a starting point. It guides you. Look, that's probably the simplest way. Identifying what it is that you do well, identifying anything from the colours to the style of artwork. What subject, Sometimes you can get a little bit lost because you get excited. Like, life is very exciting for an artist.
Everything we get attracted by the shiny things.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a new thing in everything.
So which one do you focus on first? And that's where the guidance comes in, because through doing the mentoring program, it's easy to start to see exactly where the passion lies, and then it takes on a life of its own.
And I think with what I do at the moment is like we're doing Skype Plus, so I get to see you, you get to see me. So we live in a visual world, and that's really important for us visual people. Don't write me 300 pages of stuff because we're going to get bored. So I think that's the thing. So keeping you accountable, keeping you on track, and giving you positivity. Like my positivity, it is not so much the case as like finding things that you as an artist are connected to and that you've loved all your life, or you got told they were wrong, and how can we put those in, because that's the trick, that's the point of difference, and what happens when you put some paint into that and that type of thing. And then we also talk about a little bit of social media, which is why we're doing this video, right? Because the world has changed and we're lucky enough to be in a visual world, and we'll talk about how we can get your personality, once we kind of get you feeling like you're connected to your work, how can we get that out to the world? How can we use your social media, and how can we have a plan and not feel like I've just got to put up every painting that's finished, or how you want to be perceived. And your social media is all about putting out your character of personality, and that's you, the artist. We're all many different things, but it's more so about how we can do that, and I will help you manage that through as well.
That's right.
That's what we're up to.
The knowledge base, it's incredible. And if you did the mentoring program because you just wanted to find who you are as an artist, or to do it because you need to chat with somebody, you need to get advice on the spot. Like I had to do an artwork for a friend who was turning 50, and it's like I sent through the photo to Christine and I got advice straight away as soon as she saw the email. So that to me was very, very valuable. I find the talking things through, because I'm a talker, you know, and
it's
and
good
life
practice as an artist too, because people don't get us very well. And we get disappointed and heartbroken when they look at our work and they go, you know, you want to be expressive.
I need
it's emotional,
feedback.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's emotional, and you're emotionally attached, and that's what I want you to be. And I want you to be so engaged with your work. But also that means it hurts when someone says something not nice, and how we manage that, and how you can have I think we've talked about recently about an art community, and how you can start to build that. And I'm probably the get-go, you know, like I can get you start talking about that. And you're not the only one. As an artist, you kind of end up being a bit of a hobbit.
You are.
Your family don't understand you. And they can't work out why you have to spend so money on paint, and then you made a bad painting, and it was waste anyway.
They tell you how wonderful to be an artist, you know. Oh, you're so lucky.
So hold this spot for Desiree Martin, because she's going to be, we're going to be planning some solo shows and getting her out there in social media. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, or it might be something that you know someone has been complaining about and they want to get them on track, check out my website. Give me a call, send me an email. There's a little bit of information on there, and love to chat to you, and can't wait to see what you create when we get together. Thanks a lot.
See you.
Bye.